portion of today's video is brought to you by ZBiotics. For more information on ZBiotics, click the link in the description below or wait till the end of this video. For a number of different reasons, artists typically are humanists. They tend to be liberals. They tend to be Democrats. They tend to associate themselves with other people who have an understanding of humanity and the human condition. It was a question I always asked myself decades ago when I was a conservative, having grown up in a right-wing Christian household. I always wondered, why are none of these people conservatives? It seems pretty self-evident now, but at the time, not. And when the biggest musicians on the planet, when they campaign for Democrats, it really sticks in the craw of some Republicans, especially Donald Trump, who was on Truth Social this morning at 1:34 a.m. Eastern Time, typing out an all-caps screed promising criminal investigations into Bruce Springsteen and Beyonce. Those were two of the names mentioned. It's because Bruce Springsteen is on tour right now, and he is speaking at his concerts, giving a little color in between numbers, I guess, calling out Donald Trump and the fascism that has landed on the shores of America, helmed by Donald Trump. I'm going to play a short video at the end of this after I read this Truth Social post from Donald Trump. And I would challenge anybody out there, if you're a troll out there watching, it brings you joy to watch my videos and comment like a moron in the comments. I would challenge you, troll, to point out one thing that Bruce Springsteen says that's wrong. Just one. Any one. This is a headline from the from the LA Times, excuse me. Bruce Springsteen speaks out on Trump again. They're persecuting people for their right to free speech. And Donald Trump, not to be outdone by any other moron on the planet, he yelled into the void this: "How much did Kamala Harris pay Bruce Springsteen for his poor performance during her campaign for president? Why did he accept that money if he is such a fan of hers? Isn't that a major and illegal campaign contribution? What about Beyonce?" he screams in all caps. "And how much went to Oprah and Bono? I am going to call for a major investigation into this matter. Candidates aren't allowed to pay for endorsements, which is what Kamala did under the guise of paying for entertainment. In addition, this was a very expensive and desperate effort to artificially build up her sparse crowds. It's not legal," says criminal, convicted felon Donald Trump. "For these unpatriotic entertainers, this was just a corrupt and unlawful way to capitalize on a broken system. Thank you for your attention to this matter." This is the President of the United States of America with a corrupt DOJ, a non-independent arbiter of justice, distributor of justice, seeker of justice, initiating an investigation against Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, and ostensibly also Kamala Harris. What was that about? Weaponization? What was that? Eggs were expensive. We're willing to sell out our country because of the price of eggs and gasoline, said the morons who voted for Donald Trump. Said the unpatriotic ghouls who will trade our freedoms for what they thought would be financial security. And now they're learning that's just not the case. There is nothing illegal about Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, any other artist exercising their freedom of speech protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. There's nothing illegal about it, Donald Trump. But not going to stop an investigation under the power, the weight, the heft of what can be a harassing federal government. And I want, and again, I'm going to share this. I'm going to play this little video here. It's about 2 minutes or so of Bruce Springsteen and the things he said. And again, a challenge. Where's the one thing, one fact that's not, that what's one soft, it could be argued, blah, blah, blah. Everything he says is right. They are detaining people for their freedom of speech. They are disappearing people for their freedom of speech. Listen to Bruce Springsteen, and then let's talk about some of these things on the other side.
But things are happening right now that are altering the very nature of our country's democracy, and they're too important to ignore. So, first I want to thank you for indulging me. But in America, my home, they're persecuting people for their right to free speech and voicing their dissent. That's happening now. In America, the richest men are taking satisfaction in abandoning the world's poorest children to sickness and death. That's happening now. In my country, they're taking sadistic pleasure in the pain they inflict on loyal American workers. They're rolling back historic civil rights legislation that led to a more just society. They're abandoning our great allies and siding with dictators against those who are struggling for their freedoms. That's happening now. They are defunding American universities that won't bow down to their ideological demands. And they are removing residents off American streets without due process of law and deporting them to foreign detention centers and prisons. That's happening now. A majority of our elected representatives have utterly failed to protect the American people from the abuses of an unfit president and a rogue government. They have no concern or idea of what it means to be deeply American. The America I've sung to you about for 50 years is real. And regardless of its many faults, it's a great country with a great people, and we will survive this moment. Now, I have hope because I believe in the truth of what the great American writer James Baldwin said. He said, in this world, there isn't as much humanity as one would like. But there's enough.
Sadistic pleasure in the pain they inflict on loyal American workers. They're rolling back historic civil rights legislation that led to a more just society. Not a just society, just a more just society. What did he say that was wrong? What did he say that would warrant, that would justify a criminal investigation? Nothing. But we don't live in the America that we lived in before November. We live in Donald Trump's America now. He barely won the election. And because of our broken anti-democratic system with the Electoral College, now we all suffer. Even MAGA is suffering. Now, they're the types who will gleefully just, oh, thank you for the boot on my neck, dear leader. The rest of us not. The rest of us will acknowledge the reality in which we're living. Bruce Springsteen is right. And he will be punished for it if Donald Trump has anything to do with it. A criminal investigation. So is Kid Rock? Is it illegal for what he does? Dean Cain and the the Hercules actor guy, Kevin Sorbo. I just remembered his name. I couldn't remember it in videos in Boise last week. I just remembered it. Scott Baio. Are these people breaking the law? No, because they are doing it in service to the dear leader. What do you think? I think I know, but I would love for you to comment below. Talk about it there. You can also call, leave me a fewer than 3-minute voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'm glad to be back. I appreciate you. If you want to help support this work, click below, become a channel member. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can follow me on social media. I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another. I hate to break it to you, but you're not getting any younger. None of us are. I hate to break that to you too. That whiskey you enjoy in the evening sure isn't getting any easier to deal with the morning after. It's like you can either have a great night or a great next day, but not both, right? Well, wrong. With ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink, you have a surefire way to wake up feeling refreshed after a night of drinking. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, specifically invented by a PhD scientist to handle those tough mornings after. Score 15% off your first order with ZBiotics now. Just click the link in the description below. In your gut, the alcohol you drink is converted into a toxic byproduct your body isn't naturally designed to break down. It's this byproduct and not dehydration, like so many talk about, that's to blame for your rough next day, despite all that water that you're drinking while you drink. ZBiotics pre-alcohol produces an enzyme that breaks this byproduct down. So if you make ZBiotics your first drink of the night and drink responsibly, your gut will be set up for success the following day. Why not try it out? ZBiotics offers a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, ZBiotics will refund your money, no questions asked. You can't lose. Don't sacrifice any more of your days for your nights. Access 15% off of your first order of ZBiotics by clicking the link in the description below. Make those mornings after more manageable with ZBiotics.